Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Lego Indiana Jones, the original trilogy. Let's continue. So, we're doing the Temple of Doom, and ironically, I think we've just got this section where we're gonna escape through this area a little bit and then do the very memorable minecart ride, which kind of is the beginning of minecart rides. I mean, this is very possibly the original minecart ride in these Lego treks are legitimate too. In movies, I'm not sure that there is some silent, maybe like a Charlie Chaplin or silent movie type predecessor, but as far as I know, this is it. This is the big ticket thing. This is the idea of a roller coaster. Although I'm sure roller coasters existed before then, this is probably what made them slightly, what would be the word, popularized and more well known. Also, it's, I suppose, worth slightly mentioning that as they're making this movie kid friendly, and this movie really isn't, they didn't show the slave child getting hit, and I'm pretty sure in the movie they definitely do show at least somebody getting whipped. I don't know if it was Indiana Jones or somebody else, but you certainly hear screams of pain from these slave kids multiple times in the movie. Right. There might be a break in the action. We might ride in a minecart and then end up in a different area. I don't know. Because, yeah, I don't think it was that quick. So notice they don't make rails in Lego like this, as far as I know. Maybe they did at one point. But it's important that the plastic pieces in between are not there. That way I couldn't just walk right through this. And they're making it pretty obvious that they don't intend you to just jump from piece of wood to piece of wood. Last level was only 16 minutes long, and if we're not careful, this level could easily be that short too. But you can only do so much hopping around looking for collectibles. See, there's an invisible wall there. Since this is really only maybe the second Lego game or third Lego game, possibly, if you say the first two Star Wars games are separate games, then that would make this the third game. If you count the combination of the first two Lego games into the complete saga with the little modifications that the complete saga does, this is probably the fourth game, then maybe even the fifth by some countings. But in the long series of Lego games, it's pretty devoid of secrets and items, and I am not getting the feeling that there's going to be a challenge mode. But if there is a challenge mode, I guess that would be kind of good, kind of bad. I'm not a huge fan of the challenge modes, but otherwise we're going to have a moderate number of things to do after we played the story mode. And you would have thought that Indiana Jones and Indiana Jones 2 would have been combined, but it doesn't seem like that ever really happened. Which I think makes it weirder because some of the other later games were combined. I suspect it may just have to do with how much it sold. So we free this kid, and you would have thought, well, maybe I can control the kid. But no, he just automatically walks this way, so clearly they want it just to be these two characters. There's a lot of things to break. Even in this early game, the heart system means nothing. It's a pointless add-on. It's just there just to be a feature. Come on, game. Don't lock up. Don't lock up on me, game. Actually, I don't even think it matters, because you have to pick this up and put that there on the platform. And we never see this again. This idea is never reused. The idea of putting an item on a platform and then moving the platform. That's probably just too complicated of a concept. So the trick here, if we can just die, is this has to be put here. This has to come over here. And then this has to be put here. And then Indiana Jones has to make the jump to the next section. And then do that and put it here. And barely made it on that one. Put that right there. The item is not disappearing when you drop it. Every other instance in which we've dealt with an item in any other Lego game, as far as I recall, there's always a chance that there was one instance like this before. But as far as I recall, every other instance, if you put anything down, it would immediately start to disappear and go back to the default location it was supposed to be at. Now, if I could find a shovel and dig that piece out, hey, I think we've got this. Let's see. Where does the key go? Key goes here. That fixes the platform. So we're still looking for a wrench. And we're still looking for the red piece. I'd really like to unlock at least one. Come on, pick up that wrench. One extra. And if this is the one extra you can actually unlock, it may very well be the red parcel detector or red brick detector, whatever it's going to be called. Up and up and over and free him. So unless the red brick is further along and we missed it. It might very well just be behind that silver combination of things. How do we need the... So we need to pick up this dynamite and then throw it there. Let's see, we've got this flaming dynamite that will explode eventually. So, oh yes, the red parcel is way over there. So, let's see. If we play as the girl, grab the... Actually, I think we have to play as Indy. Pick this up, and then we just start mad dashing it this way. No, you can't jump, because if you jump, you drop the explosives. What in the world? Oh, I guess this piece goes over here. Well, we found at least one thing. That's not exactly how they planned for me to do that, I'm sure. So the question is, can you mad dash this far? No. So, there's no saving it. You're gonna have to wait till you have a character that has the ability to have a bazooka, and then once you have that bazooka character unlocked, play it in free play. But once that bazooka character is unlocked, I imagine you'll be able to unlock every silver pathway or doorway you run into. The bazooka character might be the final character. Usually in these LEGO games there's one character that is much more enabled as far as unlocking doorways than all the others. And here's a clear example of that. Like in free play, you bazooka that, then you'll be able to get through that doorway into a whole nother section. In the Star Wars series, it was Darth Vader that had the unlockable abilities. Where does this go? I am looking everywhere. It goes over this way. And notice it's not orange. If it had been bright orange, I would have recognized, oh, that's a handle. That handle goes on a green thing. But even in this instance of gameplay, that they're not following the rules they've established up to this point. They've changed the handles from being orange to brown, and then that just means I now have to assume any pieces I've seen like this are designed to be handles. Sadly, in the Middle East area and around that area, there's quite a few real-world scenarios of kids getting kidnapped in mass. So I don't think you could take it very lightheartedly. And it probably was the case even when this movie came out. It just wasn't reported on or known by the general public. That is an issue. Is with global news these days, you hear about all the awful things that are happening in the world, and it makes movies that even at the time were insensitive actually feel insensitive. And so everybody is trying to play it safe so that they don't irritate people when it comes to movies, because they just want to make money and they don't really know how to do it. Another thing that has come to my attention recently is some countries now are literally, particularly, well, I'll just say it outright. China in particular is allegedly paying its citizens to go watch certain movies, and they unallegedly, they most definitely, provably, only allow so many foreign films, or films in general, to play in their theaters. So movie theaters now are trying to make movies more acceptable to the Chinese government, so they get played and they get a lot of money. And what this all eventually ends up doing is having the movie theaters become this very soft propaganda arm for the Chinese government. So if you say something nice about the Chinese government, your movie gets played in China and they allegedly pay a bunch of people to go watch it, which gives you billions of dollars. In all the while, that same cut of that movie is going to be shown to everybody else in the world in an effort to convince the entire world that the Chinese government is a good guy. Now, in the United States, it's somewhat a similar thing. That was a quick cutscene to happen, because some of these fights feel like I'm finishing them too quickly because of glitches. Like, if you make a movie that's highly critical of the United States, there's definitely patriots and patriotic people who will boycott your movie and not go see it. So it's somewhat a similar thing. And a more realistic point of this is, if you wanted to use the military's planes or tanks or anything in their theater, then you have to agree to some pretty big terms of only showing the military in a good light. Also, the military in the United States pays the National Football League to say they support the troops. So a lot of this patriotism we see by sports and other corporations is actually little paid propaganda. So no government is free of this. They are all doing it, and it's always a good idea to keep a skeptical mind. And to get back to this movie, I mean, it's good that Indiana Jones didn't immediately believe the child prince when he said there were no Thuggee in the country, and actually tried to investigate it further. But in all ways, Indiana Jones didn't have to investigate it further. The story would have worked a little bit better if nobody had tried to kill Indiana Jones or Willie until he started digging a lot deeper. If they just left him alone and didn't try to kill him, they wouldn't have immediately confirmed that, yes, there are Thuggee cultists running around. So they kind of brought their own demise upon themselves. Not 100% certain what I'm supposed to be doing here. I'm just doing a little bit of everything. Maybe I'm supposed to throw this at him. That seems like that's gonna work. We'll shoot. We'll get back to short round. So they create a problem in the movie that they had to have short round to fix, because even if a child prince is a brainwashed bad guy, he still is a kid, and it's not going to look very good if the actor Harrison Ford punches a little kid. So they have to have short round, get into a fight with him, although I don't even think it was much of a fight in the movie. It's just, and I can't go back this way. So then they have to throw in a nobody character at this element for Indy to fight instead. And this would have all been easily solved if it was the main bad guy was the prince. And see, he just refilled him with health. So that didn't work. So what do we do? Oh, you can fix it. Interesting. I tried that twice already and it didn't work. It wasn't working for me. So we have the brainwashed prince that if they had just made him an adult and the main bad guy, it would have worked a lot better. It would have also allowed the main bad guy to have more screen time and more dialogue, where he doesn't really have any in the movie at all. We see the main bad guy in the room with the heart stealing and the stones and the statue skull. Now they had to burn Indiana Jones to unbrainwash Indiana Jones. I guess I'm glad in the movie they didn't decide to burn the kid. This movie kind of suffers for having too many characters. A lot of movies do that. They put way too many characters when you can combine them. Harry Potter is a great example of that, where in a book series it makes sense, but in a movie series you just don't have time to give them all the coverage they need. I've said in Harry Potter particularly, you could get rid of the main character of Harry totally and just have it be a movie about Hermione and with her friend Ron. And you could probably get rid of Ron too and just have it be about Hermione. There's dozens of other bad guys and good guys and friends and just classmates in general that for the movie version it makes no sense for them to be shown or implied to exist at all. The same is very much true here. It would have been a more interesting story too if the Chinese bad guy we saw at the very beginning disappeared after all of that, and then he showed back up as the leader of the Thuggee cult, and he was brainwashed and under the control of like Shiva, I guess, but it doesn't even make sense in their religious beliefs, because she was kind of a good and bad god. They're not good or bad, and from what I understand. But if the Chinese guy from Shanghai turned out to be the leader of the Thuggee cult, that would be something like out of nowhere. It's like, how did that happen? And it would combine two characters again in a very strange twist. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask that you like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. It looks like the minecart race is the next level, so sorry for getting you hyped about that. If you want to friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.